Good, happy Thursday evening, January 21, 2021. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Thursday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Thursday evening, so let's begin. First up, let's take a look at your Johns Hopkins University COVID-19 dashboard. And here is a look at that COVID-19 dashboard from Johns Hopkins University and Medicine. Your global cases are 97,327,781. Your U.S. cases are 24,588,373. Your global deaths are 2,085,422. And your U.S. deaths are 4,948. And that is a look at your COVID-19 dashboard from Johns Hopkins University and Medicine. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell to oppose delay of Trump impeachment trial. The Senate has yet to hammer out details of how the trial will be conducted. Senate Minority Leader has proposed to delay of former President Donald Trump's impeachment trial Thursday in a meeting with new Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. The delay is designed to give the still emerging Trump legal team time to prepare. Senate passes waiver paving way for Defense Secretary nomination vote. The Senate has confirmed retired General Lloyd Austin's waiver to serve as Secretary of Defense shortly after the House passed the measure Thursday by a vote of 69 to 27. The four-star general retired from Army in 2016, short of requirement that requires commissioned officers to be out of service for 7 years before taking a civil post. Biden signs burst of virus orders, vows to help is on the way. President Joe Biden is putting into play his natural COVID-19 strategy to ramp up vaccinations and testing, reopen schools and businesses, and increase the use of masks. With the burst of executive orders, President Joe Biden served notice Thursday that Americans' war on COVID-19 is underway. New command promising an anxious nation progress to reduce infectious and lift the siege as it has endured for nearly a year. At the same time, he tried to manage expectations in his second day in office, saying, despite the best intentions, we're going to face setbacks. He brushed off reporters' questions on whether his goal of 100 million coronavirus shots in 100 days should be more ambitious, at point pressured by some public health experts. Also, take a look at this. Masks have become a partisan issue, unfortunately, but it's patriotic act. I'm asking every American to mask up for the next 100 days. Do your part, everyone, and mask up. It is very important to do so. And it was day 2 of the White House press briefing. They had another press briefing today. And let's see the highlights that took place today in today's press briefing. Let's take a look at this report. everyone. I'm Riley King, and the White House had another press briefing today. It was day 2 of the White House press briefing. Let's talk about what happened at the press briefing today. A few highlights during the press briefing. Fauci returns to the White House briefing room under Biden administration. The nation's top expert on infectious disease and Biden's chief medical advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, offered a glimmer of hope at a White House press briefing on Thursday, saying that despite a very, very high rate of new infections, he thinks that cases may be hitting a plateau. Right now, it looks like it might actually be plateauing in the sense of turning around, Fauci said. Now, there's good news in that, but you have to be very careful that we may not be seeing perhaps an artifact of slowing down following the holidays. Fauci also said he felt like he had deja vu as around this time last year he was talking about the accelerating of cases in late winter into early spring. Fauci's presence at the White House marks a return from a months-long absence after Trump soared on Fauci for not hearing to Trump's false claims about the pandemic, including frequently reputation that the virus would simply go away. Fauci says it's elaborating to discuss facts behind coronavirus without fear of repercussion. In a Thursday press conference addressing the Biden administration's response to COVID-19, the president's chief medical advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, said there were aspects of former President Donald Trump's response to the pandemic that were not based on scientific facts. I don't want to be going back, over history, but it is very clear that there were things that were said, be it regarding things like hydroxychloroquine and other things like that, that was uncomfortable because they were not based on scientific facts, Fauci told reporters. I can tell you, I take no pleasure at all being in a situation of contradicting the president. So it was really something that you didn't feel that you could actually say something that wouldn't be any repercussion about it. The idea that you can get here and talk about what you know, what the evidence and what the science is, and know that it let the science speak. It is something of libertarian feeling, he added. Fauci is one of the few holdovers in the Biden administration from former President Donald Trump's coronavirus task force. When asked how the new government would be different from the last, Fauci pledged that it would be transparent. One thing of the things that was very clear as recently about 15 minutes ago when I was with the president is that one of the things that we're going to do is be completely transparent, open, and honest, Fauci said. If things go wrong, not point fingers, but to correct them, and to That was literally a conversation I had with the 15 minutes ago with the president, and he has said that multiple times. Fauci says that 100 million vaccinations in 100 days is quite a reasonable goal. Dr. Fauci discussed the ongoing vaccine rollout, saying that if 70 to 85% of the country receives vaccines by the middle of this summer, then by fall we will be approaching a degree of normality. Fauci said the vaccine rollout is not starting from scratch, saying that the new administration is taking the vaccine activity to date and amplifying it in a big way. Fauci also said the Biden's ambitious vaccination goal is reasonable. I believe that the goal that was set by the president of getting 100 million people vaccinated in the first 100 days is quite a reasonable goal, Dr. Fauci said. White House says Biden's committed to bipartisan solution on COVID-19 relief package. The White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said that the Biden administration is committed to bipartisan solution on passing a coronavirus relief package, but would not say whether the president supports efforts to get rid of the Senate filibuster. Biden was involved even before yesterday, having conversations with members of both parties, picking up the phone and having those conversations. He saw, of course, members of both parties. He invited leaders from both parties to join him at church. Observably, that wasn't really a discussion about specifics of the bill, but he did have an opportunity to talk about his agenda and working together on his agenda moving forward, Psaki said in a response to a question from ABC News senior White House correspondent Mary Bruce. But I think you will see him quite involved in the days ahead, but you will also see the Vice President quite involved. You will also see policy leaders like Brian Dees and others in the administration quite involved in having conversations with both Democrats and Republicans, she added. Despite being pressed by reporters on whether the president would support Senate Democrats removing the filibuster in an attempt to pass additional legislation if Republicans refuse to block the administration's efforts, Psaki refused to say. The president has been clear he wants to work with members of both parties and find bipartisan paths forward, and I don't have any more conversations to read out for you at this point in time, Psaki said. And that is a highlight of what happened in day 2 of the White House briefing. And thank you for watching this evening news report right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you back here later on this evening for a newscast. Good night and goodbye, everyone. Okay, and there you go. That was a look at the White House press briefing today. And now let's take a look at that U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for this evening. And your U.S. stock market closed for this evening. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the red and went down. Nasdaq closed in green and went up. S&P 500 closed in green and went up. Gold closed in green and went up. Oil closed in red and went down. U.S. 10-year closed flat. Euro/USD closed in the green and went up. And VX closed in the red and went down. And we're going to switch gears now. Let's go into weather. And here's a look at the weather across the United States for this evening. In Boston, 29 degrees. New York City, 36 degrees. Washington, D.C., 33 degrees. Atlanta, 41 degrees. Jacksonville, Florida, 58 degrees. Tampa Bay, Florida, 58 degrees. Miami, Florida, 59 degrees. Dallas, 51 degrees. Phoenix, 55 degrees. Las Vegas, 45 degrees. Los Angeles, 50 degrees. And San Francisco, 48 degrees. And that's a look at the weather across the United States for this evening. And that is it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for joining us. Have a great evening and see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. Good night and goodbye, everyone.